very stylish girl. How do I look?
My God, man. Do you know what this means? This ghetto's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming, hell's a-coming.
You think you're the best? I hope you are. A Gundam mobile suit is a fully articulated, fully equipped machine, armed with the most sophisticated weaponry known to man. To be a complete Gundam pilot, you must train on both Gundam systems. Believe me, gentlemen, to beat the best, you have to be the best.
In a world where podcasting is king, you are listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
I know you. And I know when you got something brewing. I know it.
What I got brewing? What I got brewing, Ray? You tell me. You done lost your Gundam mind.
All right, everybody, it's 2024. Welcome. And we're back. The first episode of Gundam at MAHQ. And it is episode 286. Whoa, 286. Wow. So much excellence. Man, gosh, 2024. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about the thing that is on everybody's mind. Everybody's mind. Godzilla Minus One. You saw Solbro's post-war Dinosaur.
Yes.
So, but yeah. So this is the first episode of Gundam in 2024. Thank you, everybody. I know it's been a while. Hope everybody had a safe and, fruitful holiday. Meaning that you got lots of things from Santa. Santa brought me a PS5, so I've been playing that with the old. Got the Spider-Man 2 bundle, so I've been doing some saving New York there and stuff like that. So, but joining me always is the Soul Bro and Chris. Guys, say hello.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy. Oh, you've passed the thing. You haven't watched Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh,
you're past that.
3 days or some shit.
He's actually right on that.
I love Larry, but I'm gonna disagree with this. But yeah, man, I hope everybody's I hope everybody had a good holiday, and I really appreciate you guys watching tonight, man. Hope you guys caught this movie over the holiday break too, and we'll definitely be diving in. Spoilers everywhere.
Chris, how is it going? I'm sure that Santa brought you many people to ban. and you banned them probably once, twice, 3 times a banning. So, how's it
I
going?
mean, sometimes you just gotta be careful to make sure it sticks, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because bands could just, you may not do it correctly on the first try. I get that. So, but,
You know, practice makes perfect.
Practice does make perfect. So, everything going well, Chris?
I got some MAHQ news, you know.
Yes.
Cool.
Want me to toss
Drop it
out
to
now?
us. Yeah, just drop it to us. We love to hear the MHQ news. Especially for
So
those out of
I
pocket.
would urge everyone to go check out. Done a lot of work into doing a big upgrade for Super Robot Wars because it was the last remaining area that had not been upgraded with new line art, and there's a lot of good stuff there and more to come, and some new sections trying to catch up on the games that we're missing. But there's tons of new line art to enjoy. So
Awesome.
please check that out. Next bit I actually was going to announce on the site, but I decided to announce it here because why not? So pretty soon I'll be posting the last set of reviews that our stalwart reviewer Brian is doing for Eureka 7. And he has opted to not continue covering that franchise, which honestly I don't blame him for.
Oh yeah.
So the news is that the next project he's going to be tackling is 86.
Oh, dope. Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. A lot of people are going to be loving that in the chat.
So watch for an 86 section coming in the near-ish future.
Nice. So, that's awesome. Anything else, Chris?
Not MAHQ related per se, but I will say that if you were not aware of it, that Discotech released Lasner in December on Blu-ray, and I urge Mecha fans to go out and get that and support that release and that company. It's a great release. I've been rewatching the series with a friend, and it looks really good on Blu-ray, and you have all of your sadness and death and misery in high definition now. So please go buy Lasner, despite the horrible cover art.
Yeah, that cover art is pretty bad. I saw that.
It's awful. And the interior art's even worse. It's like, it's...
Damn.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's...
You gotta jump into Photoshop and make your own cover.
like in the 90s when people would print out custom DVD covers from DVD cover websites.
1,000%. Yeah, that was a lot. That's a lost story, man.
It sure is.
I guess it all comes back. It's full circle. So, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sobro. And of course, if we're going to be talking about anything Godzilla, you know that we would have to bring in our resident expert. I mean, he's the man. When you say DEI to him, he only says it's Dale Earnhardt Incorporated because that's all that matters. Absolutely. And so we're just welcoming, even though I think Dale Earnhardt Incorporated's been gone for like a long time after Junior went to Hendrick. But we'll talk about that on NASCAR Talk. On the Shinjuku Station Network there.
Oh, wow.
Fredericks, how's it going, Fred?
It's going good, man. I appreciate. I mean, I barreled myself in even before Solbro told me. I smelt it like blood in the water because if it ain't Ava and it ain't Dale, it's Godzilla, and I got to be there for it, bro.
Exactly. I think Solbro said exactly. He's like, I went. I was walking out my front yard, and I have like this nice fish pond, and all my fish were dead. And then he goes, I looked over in the corner, and I saw Fred just peeking around the corner. So
yes,
I knew it would happen. So, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Again, it's
so we're looking for your insight as our resident Godzilla expert. So, I mean, I think that's. I mean, if we're going to be handing out titles, I think. I don't know what's our titles on MHQ. Or Chris, it's still like podcaster, right? Like me and Silver are podcaster. Your Lord Savior, Jesus Christ.
Oh, the bald wizard, man.
The bald wizard. All those.
You
other
can have
names.
that title, Fred, but no money.
Oh,
exactly.
I'll take it.
I'll take. You can have exposure. That's what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll gladly take the title of the Godzilla Goblin of MAHQ.
Godzilla Goblin. Goblin
Godzilla
sounds.
Goblin.
Godzilla
That sounds
Goblin.
pretty cool.
I mean, have you seen me?
It's the lost Osborne family member of the Godzilla Goblin.
Oh my
Jesus Christ! Don't give Marvel any ideas, bro. They'll do it.
You thought Norman
Probably
Osborn
steal
was
it, yeah.
bad. Wait till
Exactly.
you meet the Godzilla Goblin.
Right now, Toho's intercepting our podcast and like, you know what, Godzilla Goblin. That's a good thing. Quick to press. So, but thank you, Fred, for joining us, guys. Anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio, and it's been Oh my God! I just can't believe it's been so many years since the king is gone, but
No doubt.
the king spirit lives on.
Oh, he's still with us, man.
Because I don't prepare.
Yeah, never. But I have a few basic announcements.
Basic. Okay.
Well,
all right.
so some
Go ahead and do basic
announcements. Number one, thank you, Fred, for being on the episode today and always being game to talk shop with us, especially when it comes to kaiju. Much appreciated. Also want to give a special thank you to Rodimus76, aka Rudy, who provided some of the images tonight for the slideshow, as well as Fred did as well. So thanks to the both of them. Rudy has contributed a lot to the show, so it's cool that whether it be news or artwork or images for segments. So I really appreciate it. Anytime people can help. Thank you. It's a time saver, and I appreciate it. Also want to give a big thank you to Ed the Crimson. Ed the Crimson has been a long-time viewer of the show, a good friend of mine as well. Matter of fact, he was over for my birthday a couple weeks ago. And I was streaming on the night of my birthday, the morning of my birthday. I didn't want to do it, but and I hadn't streamed for a while, but I got on because I got coaxed into doing it. During the stream, the mixer died. My audio mixer I've had since 2009 took a shit, and I managed to get it back up and running, but it wasn't perfect. So while I was on the stream, I actually went to Amazon and added a new updated version of the same mixer to my list on Amazon. And during the stream, Ed went there and bought it. It was $210 and bought a replacement for my mixer. So much thanks to Ed for doing that. Ed, you are as far as I'm concerned, you are a producer of the show now.
What?
Yeah.
No, he's not a producer.
Hey man, he literally produced equipment that we needed. So as far as I'm concerned, I will credit him.
Is producer like the lower? Oh yeah, because he's not an executive producer.
No,
like,
you would be an executive
He's
producer.
not. Am I? I'm an executive producer.
Of course, you, Chris, and me. But Ed is definitely.
I'm trying to get the higher. Okay, yeah, he's
producer
cool.
status. Definitely producer status. So shout outs to Ed the Crimson. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now if I didn't have this mixer. So thank you so much, Ed. Follow him on Twitter or X at Ed the Crimson or on any other social medias. You could find him. And,
let's get him on Blue Sky and off of X. I got invites laying around.
I believe he's on there.
Yeah.
I believe he's on Blue Sky. Ed, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He's in the chat, but follow Ed wherever you can. It's Ed the Crimson, and much thanks to him. He said, "Have I inherited the title from Varnus?" You both can share it. There you go. But I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And I also want to let you guys know, for those who are been looking for an update to the audio feed, I'm uploading episodes again. Episodes 226 through 228 are up right now. Those consist of the season 1 review of Picard, the close of Voltron Legendary Defender, and last but not least, the opening episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. I guess we touched upon that first before we actually reviewed the rest of the season. So, and you'll see episodes weekly uploaded. So, if you guys want to resubscribe to that, by all means, and get caught up again, or tell your friends that the audio episodes are going up, by all means. So, thank you guys very much for being patient, and I'm going to toss it back to Neo for the news.
All right. Well, thank you for all that, and thank you, Ed, for getting the producer credit, and thank you for helping out Slowbro. You help out the show. That's very nice of you to do that. You didn't necessarily have to do that, but we appreciate that.
You get a big old kiss.
You get yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, we are gonna do some Neo's listener submitted news, the first of 2024. And who do you think will be the first poster? Who do you think will be the first poster?
MCT Dread.
Oh, you are wrong.
Oh,
man.
oh
Silly
shit.
Gundam fan.
You are wrong. Fred.
Oh.
Me?
Me?
No! Rodimus 76.
Oh,
the
shit.
guy that helped us with the art tonight.
Hell
Yes, yes. He is the first. He is Genesis for 2024.
Nice.
So, yeah, he gave us an article here from the Anime News Network about the Grandizer U anime reveals a trailer, a new cast, and a theme song along with the artist. So, yeah, I guess the staff for Grandizer U, which is going to be a 2024 anime series for Go Nagi's UFO Robot Grandizer franchise, revealed during a live stream. This is probably about a week or so ago. They have a trailer. They have some credits for the artist. They have some line art here. To definitely check out the link here that Rodimus gives us. It's line art looks pretty good. You know, you got young hot girl. You got mysterious guy, shirtless guy. You got old laboratory grandpa scientist guy. You got business guy. You got evil guy. And so evil witch lady. So
good job.
Yeah.
So
that's what you got.
I can't wait.
Great commentary.
I can't wait for it to be terrible. I mean, I'm hyped.
That came from Fred. He's waiting for it to be terrible. So, but thank you, Mr. Rodimus 76, for your submission. And the second submission in 2024 comes from, and one of you guys said it. Let's say who's got it? Who's got it? Soul Bro, who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
MCT Dread.
Yes, you are correct.
Yes,
and it's coming from. He's got a site here that's from the Crunchyroll. It says, Bang Braven TV anime reveals premiere date and new promo vehicles. Am I having problems here? I've been dealing with stuff with the cars so much the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. It's all it is these stupid cars. But yes, there's a premiere date for the new anime coming in winter of 2024 to continue to be rolled out. The original Mecha series, Bang.
It's already out by this point.
Yeah.
January 11th.
And it's on Crunchyroll now.
It's on Crunchyroll. So there you go. Check it out.
Episodes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Chris corrected me. So that's why I don't read the news, because other people will. So okay. Are we not scrolling down? Okay. Next one here comes from. Okay, scrolling. Oh, I don't know. Do you want to touch this one? The dude that got cut for Marvel. Do you guys want to touch that?
No.
No.
We're good.
Okay.
No? Okay.
Yeah, we're good on that one. Yeah. Oh, MC2 Direct comes back with another one here. Gundam Witch from Mercury director confirms that Soletta and Miori are married.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that was in
Oh, it was. It's
just.
All of the haters and deniers are like, but they're just friends. They're just buddies. You know
I thought it was pretty obvious, right? Am I missing something? I don't know. I don't always see these things, but even I was like, okay, they're married at the end, right?
They're both wearing the rings, and Soletta's got those two chopped fingernails. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So yeah, that's mystery solved. Cool. That's cool. Anything else on that, guys?
No, it's freaking great. I'm glad they confirmed
haters gotta hate.
Yeah, they got to apparently.
Oh, yeah. Tell it to us, Swifty. Tell it to us, Swifty. I guess you're just a Chiefs fan now, right?
Yo.
big fans.
You know she's a play. You know she's a play with the CIA to make all men gay. That's what they say. It's so stupid. I don't know, but all right.
All right.
I'm saying that's what other people say, not me.
Wow.
Not me.
All right. Okay, Neil. All right.
People believe anything. People will believe anything, dude. What the fuck, man?
Exactly.
God damn.
Yeah, like there's many fraud. It's everywhere. I don't know. But see, Trent comes back with another one here. Star Trek Prodigy creators share their hopes for more after season 2. So they're hoping, I guess this is coming from IGN.com. They're hoping that, I guess the creators are hoping that since Prodigy is now on Netflix for season 2, that it's gonna maybe help give them a season 3. So what do you guys think about that? Anything? I haven't watched season 2. Is it out yet or?
Not yet.
It's not out yet.
But season one is on Netflix now. For those who haven't seen it, I don't know what the numbers are yet. Hopefully we'll get some kind of idea. But Netflix doesn't let share. Oh, go ahead.
It was in their top 10 on its debut on Christmas Day of children's stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and something has been pointed out, which I think is a good thing to be aware of, is that Paramount Plus, which of course was a rebranding of CBS All Access, never was marketed or built up as a destination for children's content.
Yeah, absolutely not.
For family content.
Although they have a lot of it though. But
Netflix has been built up as a place for children's content.
Yes.
So the idea is that Prodigy has the possibility of performing much better on Netflix, where actual kids will get to watch it instead of just old people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there could be a season 3. Who knows what happens? You know, I'm going into this expecting nothing. Glad to just be able to see season 2, but if it does well enough that there's a season 3, I'm all for that, as long as they get rid of Robert Beltran.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's been fucking
he's
up.
Bad.
He's been fucking up.
What are you saying? Chakotay is like toxic? I don't know.
Hey, you're in the right ballpark.
You feel that way, Chris? Come on, man. Come on. What are you talking about here? It's weird though, because I think in a weird way, I mean, this time last year, people were talking like Netflix was gonna die, but I think like the last part of 2023, for some reason, Netflix is like, it's probably one of the stronger streaming options. Like I pretty much have every streaming option known to man, and it's between Apple TV and Amazon Prime and this one that I'm actually watching stuff from, and even original stuff.
Yeah, if
so it's weird. So I don't know.
If the strikes were still going on, they would have been the only ones going into this time of year with a whole stockload of product to show and whatnot, because they pretty much continue to just bankroll shows and whatnot, and they got a lot of stuff, man, and a lot of offerings, and I'm looking forward to seeing when season 2 drops for this. I hope they'll give us an announcement sometime soon. We probably won't see it until around Comic-Con time or whatever, but hopefully we'll know when it shows up. And Yazi asks, does Neo have Crackle? Well, Crackle's free. Yazi, everybody's got Crackle.
Yeah, it's free.
I got Tubi too.
Yeah, I got Pluto.
I actually did the math the other day, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm paying like almost $100 for all my streaming.
Welcome back to cable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, welcome back.
I mean, we know it's the cheaper option.
No, you know what's even, and this sounds like first world problems. So you know what's even worse? I still have fucking cable. Like it's like I still have everything on there.
If you watch sports, you don't have a choice. You really don't.
Exactly.
Absolutely do.
And well, I also like getting like the East Coast feeds on things. Like sometimes I don't like having to. I like watching on Sunday night at 6 o'clock the HBO offering, whatever it is. Like the last one we were watching was like a Gilded Age. I like watching it then. I don't like waiting. You know, it's like, okay, there's a reason there's an East Coast. It's for us to get, watch things earlier in the day. on the West Coast.
Yes.
But
Oh man.
yeah, no, I think that's good. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, I'm with Chris. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping that season 2 is as good as season 1, and it would be great. I mean, I think it would be a little awkward. I'm wondering how Paramount and CBS would feel, or Viacom would feel like if this thing really takes off on Netflix, and there's a call for that. But then again, they're probably like, you know what, screw it, it's money. So it's better to get some of the pot than all of the pot, and then none of the pot. So. But
tell that to David Zaslav, who keeps canceling stuff and wanting to bury it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
fucking serial killer.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And just taking stuff off there. On a side note, I don't want to go off on a tangent on this, but I've heard that are some of the other Star Trek like movies and stuff coming off a certain streaming. There's some stuff
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
That happens all the time that Paramount will sell the rights to the Trek movies to another streamer, usually Max, and they'll all go off of Paramount Plus, then they'll all be on Max for a while, which is how it is now.
Oh.
And then eventually they'll all go back to Paramount Plus again, and then
wow,
it'll just repeat over and over. Because if you notice, when Paramount Plus started advertising itself back when they still had Prodigy as the home of Star Trek, the tagline was every series, every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was they never mentioned the movies because they always sell off the movies to be on other outlets.
True.
Right. Yeah, because you have the 2 movies that everybody's always going to watch, 2 and 4. Along with First Contact. Well, there's like 3 of them, like 2, 4, and First Contact. People are always going to watch those. So
I gotta read this, yo. Ed, I see what you did there. He said, "I hear Cedric the Entertainer's specials are neither on Netflix or Tubi." For those who don't know, if you haven't seen the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp, holy shit! Oh my god, that's almost 3 hours of time wasted or well spent. You be the judge.
Yeah, talking about burning shit.
I was riveted.
Talking about burning shit to the ground.
Oh,
yeah, it's like
he fucking nuked whole planets.
yeah, it's appropriate when we're talking about Godzilla Minus One.
Yes, yes. In his own way. In his own way, he had a top. Cat hit all of Hollywood with atomic breath. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly, and Black Rain after that one. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, let's get through the last couple of articles here. The next one here comes from MCT Dread. Discotheque licensed the 1997 Berserk anime.
Let's go.
OVAs and Matt Kaiser and more. Yeah, so let me go to this link. It's on the Anime News Network, so you know it's got to be true. I don't know.
No.
It looks like here back in what is the date here? January 8th. Berserk 1997 series, Usura Yasura original video anime series, Mazen Kaiser, Lupin III, The Secret of Page of Marco Polo, Lupin III, Princess of Breeze, Space Emperor God Sigma, Lightspeed, Electro Aguas, The Little Mermaid 1975 Toei animation film, Sergeant Frog seasons 5 through 7. That's pretty specific. Magical Girl Lakera, A's, Fakuna Atora, scrolling. God damn it. Tokugawa and Reborn special fan disc and Kenshi the Mightiest Discipline. So, you guys excited about any of that stuff? I'll be honest with you. I've always heard about, as long as I've been watching all this crap, I've always heard about Berserk. I've never really watched Berserk.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I feel bad about it. Yeah, that's like I guess that's like a confession. That's like a confession.
I saw it on VHS fan subs back in the day. What the fuck are you doing?
Dude,
yeah, you know what? I missed it.
Me too.
You know what? I'll be honest.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
No. Fuck it. What are you talking about? What the fuck is wrong with me? I mean, I missed it.
You're a real anime fan.
No,
really? That's what you're going to say?
Fan.
Like,
No.
Jesus Christ! All the other stupid crap that I watch is like,
No, but
I
you didn't watch
never
this, so you're fake.
oh fuck you!
anime
man.
fan.
We finally got him.
We got him. We got him, boys.
We got him, boys.
Yeah,
Run the
unmask me.
chin.
Yeah, unmask me. There you go. Yeah,
Tell
no,
them.
yeah. This will be on him tomorrow. Right now.
It's already on there.
It's already there.
I'm making the thread.
Anonymous asshole.
Oh shit.
No, but seriously, you should watch it. It's a great show.
I know, but for some reason I've always I don't know. You know what? That'll be a separate topic for another Gundam time. Where It's like series that we should have like ever seen. Because I know the three of us have it. Like I'm getting shit from Chris, but I know there's stuff that he probably should have seen that I probably saw that he's like, well, I've never seen that. I'm the Soul Bro at this point because Soul Bro said the same thing. Because Soul Bro is the same way with Berserk.
No,
for some reason we missed
the Crimson
it, man.
bringing up
I've
the
seen
all-time
Berserk.
classic Galactic Defender Linguini, which is a classic of all time.
Yes.
And was lost to the ages aside from that Ukrainian dub that mysteriously surfaced.
So
You know what? You know what? You're forgiven because you guys, you've seen Crystal Triangle, so you guys are forgiven.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I suffered through that.
For all the other bullshit I've seen, I should be given a pass on this one. Like I get it, but I should be
fucking metal.
I'm sorry. Like, okay, you know what? You can put me on probation if you do that. Like, if that's the problem. Like, I'm on anime probation for 3 months. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But
oh god, Yahtzee brought up Dragonaut: The Resonance. Ugh,
Ooh,
what a fucking
ooh.
piece of trash.
Oh
Jesus
god,
Christ.
Another classic.
Yeah, exactly. Dragonaut.
God,
I've endured that. So
Yes.
that
I'm
was so
sorry.
awful. I couldn't watch more than 5 episodes before I dropped it. That was just absolutely terrible shit.
Yeah.
Rancid.
Yeah, so but god damn, almost got my card pulled there, but you know what? I survived.
you did.
So close.
Assholes.
You
So,
pulled out of that dive. You managed to do it. Good shit.
Hey, screw you! I heard you on the thing. You're like, I never really seen it either. So
No. I have watched Berserk back in the 90s when it was new.
Did you?
Yes. I played the game in the Dreamcast too.
I never really watched it. I've seen like the mangas and stuff, but never got into it. Yeah.
If I'm gonna be honest, if you're gonna get into Berserk, it's better just to read the manga.
Yeah,
if
I
I'm
would
gonna be
say
completely honest, But
I just never watched it. Like, I'm sorry. Fuck. I mean, should I just shame?
Impale yourself on a sword to show your contrition. Impale yourself on Guts' sword.
Am I going to strip naked and have to do just a shame? Like, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, motherfuckers.
I mean, it's a start.
We're learning new
I mean,
things.
I'd like it.
I mean, all the other bullshit I've watched
doesn't matter. This
doesn't
one
matter.
thing invalidates
Never
all
saw
matters.
Berserk, so fuck you.
Your cachet is worthless.
All right, completely. Gundam sucks.
Good shit.
He's never seen Gazette. He's never seen Berserk. So
Cancel the show.
Everything else
It's not even relevant to this show, but still
There's
somehow.
not anything. Just completely dismiss them. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. And the last and final listener submitted article for this, and this is definitely appropriate for what we're about to talk about, is from MCT Dread, and it looks like old Godzilla Minus One is going to get a black and white remaster for 1 week.
Ooh.
And it's going to be getting it in North America for 1 week from January 26th through February. So that's next week.
Yep.
Next weekend. Yeah, all the way to February 1st. So that's some pretty cool stuff. And I think that's appropriate when you think about like how it hits with the original Godzilla movie. So yeah, but that's the listener submitted news, guys. Anything before we start going into our discussion about Godzilla Minus One?
Well, yes. I know that Fred and myself have something to rave about. A little bit.
It's not related to Berserk, is it?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
that's another episode.
Okay. So, which I will not be invited to. So.
No, you're getting bullied into it now.
Oh my
You know what?
God.
I gotta watch Berserk. God damn it! Hey, at least I admitted it. I'm not like,
there you go.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I read the Wikipedia article.
I was like, you just hear me tapping.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. I'll tell you, you will absolutely love the '90s butt rock theme song of that show.
Oh, dude, put your
I'm all about butt rock. You will not get it out of your brain. I swear to you. It is so good. Yeah. It is so good.
You got me hooked now.
Yes.
So yeah,
enjoy it.
Yeah, butt rock. I'm
savor that shit.
Weakness. It's between butt rock and wizard metal. I'm good. So
you know what? Mm-hmm. It strikes that perfect balance with it.
All you know. So all right.
Fantastic.
So bro, what you got for us?
Well, over the last couple of months, Skybound Entertainment, which is under Image Comics' label, they've been working on a universe called the Energon universe. And they announced, we talked about it a little bit on the show a couple episodes ago, but in the first episode of this new comic book universe called Void Rivals, is one of the 4 series that's currently running right now, they introduced to the world that this series is going to be a crossover between Void Rivals, which is an original property, G.I. Joe, and Transformers for the most part. The G.I. Joe portions are limited series, but the ongoing runs are going to be Void Rivals, which is right now up 6 issues. Transformers is just recently released issue 4, and that's an ongoing series too. But Duke 1 came out at the end of December, and Cobra Commander came out just at the beginning of this week. So basically all these have different threads that eventually will all tie together, and with each issue you see the universe building, and it's very tightly woven. It's fantastic. Fred, I know you've been reading it. Which parts of it have you read so far?
So far, I have read most of Void Rivals. I am up to date with the, except for issue 4. No, yes, issue 4. Mm-hmm. Up to issue 4 of Transformers. Mm-hmm. And I have just today read the issue 1 of Cobra Commander. I haven't gotten to Duke yet. But so far, man, I have thoroughly enjoyed specifically the Transformer stuff. I'm not too big into G.I. Joe. I think that's kind of like your market with that stuff. Oh, yeah. I'm not too into G.I. Joe, but like the Transformer stuff is just great. It's hard to top early IDW, well, mid IDW, because early IDW Transformers books were, we didn't know what we were doing at that point. But the greatest parts, like More Than Meets the Eye, Robots in Disguise, like it's hard to meet that level. But this new Transformers book, man, it is doing things, man. I have never been so jazzed. Even the action, the action alone.
You've never been so jazzed.
There we go.
See, that's an appropriate pun.
Yeah, that's appropriate because Jazz is one of the main characters. He's one of the bots that gets revived.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a great book, man. It's welcoming. Yes, there's these crossover things with like the Void Rivals thing, but it's not required material. Like, so anybody can hop into this book right now, man. Yeah. And it's like, and I don't want to keep going on too much.
Oh, good.
But, But I mean, the stuff they're doing alone with the fact that like the Cybertronian War, it's only been going on for 200 years as opposed to centuries.
Millions of years.
Yeah, millions of years. Like, and Optimus, it's alluded to that Optimus like just became Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
So he's very young to the role, and just seeing a younger Prime kind of like build that role. And I was talking to you about this, Sobro, the other day. Like, you know how we have every Optimus has the freedom is the right of all sentient beings thing speech. We always got to have that speech.
Absolutely.
I feel like this Optimus in this book and how this book is written, it's going to be earned.
Dude,
and it's going to feel so satisfying.
Yeah, he embodies it so much. This is easily my favorite version of Optimus Prime. The conversation at the beginning of issue 2, I won't get into it, but right at the start of issue 2, you get a really good look at Optimus and how naive he is about Earth. And he's starting to pick up on basically what an organic planet is about, but he also has a couple of misgivings and whatnot too. But it's such a fascinating portrait of a character that I've enjoyed for so many years, over 30 years now. And to see this fresh take that kind of takes you back to formula for the character is fantastic. Me getting into
does it have any heart and soul?
Oh, it
does
has
have heart and soul.
Brother, it's got all the heart and soul. It's got I mean, I'll tell you what, issue 4 reduced me to tears because there's some fucked up shit that happens in it. The Decepticons are evil as fuck. And let me tell you something. This book borders on rated R. I'd say it's firmly between PG-13 and rated R, the shit that goes down in it. This is not kid stuff. You watch this shit.
In terms of violence or robosex?
Violence. But humans.
Violence. We haven't got the robosex yet.
Humans getting fucked up. Yes. There's a particular scene in issue 2 where Starscream does something super sadistic, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy this shit. There's fucking shit around every corner. The surprise in Cobra Commander, though, had me fucking jumping out of my skin. And then how Duke is presented, where Duke normally is presented as this plain Jane fucking hero that really doesn't have a dark side. Well, this version of Duke, he's embroiled in a fucking conspiracy, dealing with an alien invasion, government secrets, all this shit. It's so compelling what's going on with Duke. Cobra Commander, you're usually used to seeing him as such a fucking coward and always retreating. This version of Cobra Commander is gangster as fuck. At the very beginning of the book, when people are retreating, this motherfucker is not. He is amazing. And the way they set up his story, it's got me compelled. Cobra Commander is more of a horror / espionage book. Duke is more kind of like a conspiracy uncovering and espionage too. Void Rivals is really the kind of the light side of everything, where you're dealing with two alien races locked in a civil war that's lasted a long time. And so long they've forgotten where their origin is from. And so these two people that they focus on in the first book are first fighting with each other, but then have to work together for survival. They run into a particular character that ties it into Transformers. And then they got to fight their way out of a bad situation and get back to their home planets. And then all this other shit unfolds, and it kind of leads them onto a journey that's going to force them to kind of uncover to the populace the true fucking the secrets of both of their governments that's going on. Their history ties into the Transformers, and then we got the shit going on Earth with the Autobots and with Duke and Cobra Commander. But let me tell you something, it's fantastic. If you guys haven't checked it out, I know that I want to review it on the show when the annual comes out in May, because by that point I think that's going to kind of be the end of the first season. So if you guys are reading and you want to get together and just knock this out, that's cool. But May is what I'm looking for to do this. But I have been riveted. The schedule for the latest issues coming out are Duke #2 on the 31st of January, Transformers 5 on Valentine's Day, Cobra Commander 2 on the 21st of February, Void Rival 7 on the 6th of March, and then the special issue, which is encompassing the whole thing, on the 4th of May 2024. So I can't recommend this enough. It's been a great read so far. Fred, any last thoughts before we move on?
Yeah. No, other than just man, this book is going places. I can't wait to see what it does. I'm telling everybody who read, even if you don't read comic books, if you have a glancing fascination with like Transformers and stuff like that, I would highly recommend this book. Absolutely. If you just want to read some good material, some good comic book stuff, highly recommend this stuff.
Yeah.
It's going places. Hop on the train now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and I'll say this: you could just read Transformers if you want, but if you have the chance to read it all, read it all. A pro tip: don't start reading Duke until you've read Transformers issue 2. Not Duke or Cobra Commander. Wait until you've read Transformers issue 2 and then start taking those on. Other than that, you're fine to start wherever you want. And that's it, man. I hope you guys check it out, and we'll come back to this in the coming months.
Okay, well that's a great recommendation from Silbro and Fred, and I guess that gives us a great segue in something, because what Fred had said, if you're not into comic books or Transformers or G.I. Joe, this is just a good story to read. So that kind of brings us to our first and only topic of the night, which would be the feature film of Godzilla Minus One that was, I think, released in early December here in the United States.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure was.
So I don't know, Chris, you want to give us a quick synopsis of Godzilla Minus One of the storyline? And mind you, people, you know
I do not.
Okay.
I believe that honor should rest.
You want to give it to Fred? Okay.
Our special guest, the Godzilla Goblin. But first, I want to tee it up. I want to tee it up before I hand it off to Fred to give us the synopsis. I have never been particularly into kaiju or tokusatsu things, not because I dislike them, but because nothing so far has really hit for me. But to give you an example of how Godzilla Minus One hit for me so well, I was the one who proposed this topic.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's entirely true.
I was stunned.
I mean,
and with that, I will hand it off to the Godzilla Goblin.
Yeah, and before Godzilla Goblin, when you do your super quick synopsis of the story, because we just need to hit it hard, because we'll go into our highlights and lowlights. If you're listening to this now and you have not seen this movie and you do not want it spoiled, do not listen any further. Please.
Know that we all liked it. We all liked this movie, so that's
a whole other different situation. But if you don't want any details of what happens in this movie or anything like that, do not listen further until you watch this movie and then come back and listen to it.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Godzilla Goblin, give us a quick and dirty synopsis of this story here. So
okay. So the movie takes place at the very tail end of World War II, and the main character is a kamikaze pilot named Koichi Shikishima. He returns back from a mission complaining about that his plane that he was piloting was having issues. However, there is the hint that he lied and is essentially afraid to do his duty as a kamikaze pilot. Going into it, later on that night, him and the crew, the aircraft crew, encounter a creature that is named Gojira or Godzilla by the local natives of the island. And due to his inaction, the creature massacres the entire crew, leaving him and the chief engineer the only survivors. Koichi then returns to Tokyo to find his family is completely killed. His home is destroyed, and everything he knew is gone. And eventually, as he is picking up the pieces, he encounters a woman named Noriko and an orphan child named Akiko, which is not hers. It was just kind of thrusted upon her. As this kind of hodgepodge of a family is thrusted upon Koichi. And slowly, he starts, reclaiming himself in society, just as Japan is reclaiming themselves in their stance and rebuilding from the rubble. Little does he know that this creature, Godzilla, is still alive and has mutated thanks to atomic bomb testing in the Bikini Atoll. And
USA. Yeah. That's our contribution.
There we go, boys.
Godzilla is bad, but we can make it worse.
We can make it 10 times worse, Bo.
Gojira's bad, but you know what? He needs to be a little bit bigger.
You know what, man?
I know what to do.
We'll
little,
supersize your dinosaur.
You know what?
Yeah, we're gonna just a little hydrogen bomb of Bikini Atoll.
You know what that boy
Thank you,
needs?
Japan.
That boy needs atomic fire. That's what he needs to spit fire.
Yeah. He needs to be a lot bigger with atomic fire.
Yeah. But eventually, Koichi then encounters Godzilla again, and eventually leads to Godzilla attacking the mainland. And at that point, because of the situation of World War II, the government has kind of abandoned its people in a way, so it is upon the people to conquer and defeat this creature that is borderline a god. And it is the story, it is a human story of how people can form a community to rise up from the ashes. The tagline of the movie is, of course, Japan lost everything in World War II, and Godzilla now sets them into the negative, the -1.
Woo.
So, and that's the general plot of the movie.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up because I had to look that up about why the -1 was in there. So I guess that's like a UN designation of a country. So like 0 is a country that is basically just kind of like surviving, like just everything's decimated. And when you introduce Godzilla, it made that country less bearable to even be in.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how that, because I was like, what the hell is this thing with the -1? And that's what I had to I was like, so I went to the interweb and that's what internet told me. But Chris, you wanna hit us on some of your thoughts about this movie?
So, I should start by saying that I saw it in a 4DX theater, so that was definitely part of my experience. It was interesting. Not sure that I necessarily would want to repeat that. That was my first time watching something in 4DX. And it, got a little rickety at times while I'm trying to eat my popcorn. So, not necessarily a fan of that, of rocking around so much while I'm trying to stuff my face with popcorn. It's funny that and we'll get to this more later. I'm sure that this movie is so universally praised. It's made so much money in America. It's extended its theatrical run multiple times. They didn't expect it to hit this hard. And I think about some of these kaiju fans who complain about movies like Monk versus Lizard, who say, we just want to see devastation, not any of the boring human stuff. Just show us devastation. This is not that movie. There are plenty of times while I was watching this movie that I forgot that I was watching a Godzilla movie.
Right.
And felt like I was watching a World War II drama about a soldier with PTSD trying to rebuild his life.
Yeah.
And that by itself is a very compelling movie. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, you're reminded, oh, this is a kaiju movie. Here's Godzilla. But it works. It works because, it's obviously calling back a lot to the original. It's got a very retro look. It's a very economically made film that was made for practically peanuts, but doesn't look like it, doesn't feel like it. Yeah. It really captures that mood of the devastation of post-war Japan, because we always talk about the 2 atomic bombs, but something that's kind of overlooked from the American perspective is the way that we just totally firebombed Tokyo into oblivion.
Yeah.
And you definitely see that with how these people are struggling to build tin shacks out of the ruins of their own homes and just barely survive while under American occupation. Although it's interesting, you don't see any Americans in this movie, which I was kind of surprised by.
Yeah,
same. I don't know if that was just a budget thing or a particular editorial choice.
I think it's a story point, because the whole thing when they bring up the Americans during this whole time, because you start off in 1945, then it goes to 1946, then it goes to 1947. And the whole thing about it is people know in history, in 1946, 1947, the Americans are in. That's the beginning of the Cold War with Soviet Union. So, like anything that the American military is going to do is predicated on minimizing the tensions with the Soviet Union. And that's brought up in that, and it's like it's very interesting how that works. And it's very believable. I mean, it seems, because it just shows like a whole shift of like, okay, we're going from defeating this enemy to like, okay, now we occupy them, but okay, they're having these problems, but we can't do stuff on this major scale because it might anger our number one enemy at this point. So
another thing that really sticks out at me is so the writer and director Takashi Yamazaki, he also was the visual effects supervisor, and visual effects in this movie really for the most part stand out to me as they feel crunchy, they feel textured, like they feel like physical
visceral
model work, and they don't have like that floaty kind of like CG game cutscene look that so many like American movies have that are special effects heavy, and did a really good job with that. And also I like that it's the classic creature design for Godzilla, but updated a bit just to make it look really slightly terrifying.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, is he terrifying?
Yes.
Absolutely terrifying. And it's like, yeah, the OG Godzilla design with sort of the rounded snout looks kind of goofy when you watch it in the OG, but like it's terrifying as fuck in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, his eyes.
Yeah, those eyes. Those eyes coming out of the water.
Dude, yeah, the eyes throughout the whole thing. The whole thing when he's chasing, when they're in the boat and stuff. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a movie that just hits on every level, in terms of the special effects, in terms of the human drama of creating human characters that you actually care about, and like many of the other Japanese Godzilla movies, having a broader message beyond what's just in front of your eyes, of like the allegory of mankind's nuclear folly, and how does Japan rebuild itself and find its place again in this world, and governments fail people, and in the end people have to come together to defend themselves. So there's so many different moving parts in this movie, but they all just gel together perfectly, I think. So that's my comments for now, and I'll turn it back to you, Neo.
So, bro.
All right. Yeah, man. I was riveted from start to finish, man. This movie's masterfully paced. I would say that right off the bat. I didn't feel the length of this at all. It's not a very long movie, to be honest, but it went by. Cat, you need to calm down, buddy. But
not by American standards.
Not long. Yeah, it's it wasn't. It didn't feel long to me. And you guys are right, man. The characters are everything in this movie. Usually, when you sit down to watch a Godzilla movie, sitting and having to slug it through with characters, it's not the greatest thing. Some movies do it well. I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, but that's the next movie I'm watching. And I'm gonna have a question for you later, Fred, about that. To be honest, but because I heard that was a spectacular Godzilla movie as well. So, but yeah, watching this and following Koichi throughout his journey. And seeing how they use Godzilla and use him to represent not only his survivor's guilt, but his fear, his dereliction of duty, and the dead coming for him, right? All that shit. His guilt about not helping those mechanics at the very beginning of the film when Godzilla is T-Rex size and he has a clear shot at him from the cockpit of his plane and doesn't fire because he's too afraid that it's not going to work and that Godzilla's going to kill him like he's killing everybody else. And he has to come to grips with that throughout the film. One of the best parts of this movie to me is when Godzilla's attacking Japan for the first time, and him and his I had my thing up here. Him and his lady friend, I wouldn't say his girlfriend at the time, but Noriko. They're trying
In
to survive.
Ginza.
Yeah, in Ginza, yeah, they're trying to survive the stop down in Ginza, and she sacrifices herself to save him. It pretty much he comes to a moment of clarity after that at the funeral, knowing that it's like, look, I gotta change my ways. I can't keep running, and I've got to face up to this. And he finally gets the idea of what he's going to do next. And when he's presented with this prototype plane, which I loved, I forget what the plane was called, but it reminded me of like an anime title. Sorry,
The Shiden.
What's it?
The Shiden.
It was called the Local Fighter something Shiden, I think, right? And it's like, yo, that sounds like Mobile Suit Gundam. You know? But it was cool. But they needed a mechanic to fix it, and the mechanic that was laying on him heavy throughout the beginning of the movie, he has to ask for his help, and he takes a beat down in order to get him to help him, and it turns out to be the best partnership ever. There's sequences in this movie that will remind you of other films like Jaws, as Yazi aptly posts in the chat. The scene in the boat where they're having to try to destroy the floating mines in Godzilla's mouth. That shit was magnificently orchestrated, man.
Yes,
they were really creative with the visuals in this film because they probably had to work with so little, as Chris was saying. But having that scene where they're in a boat trying to outrun Godzilla and trying to survive, and then that other ship that comes in, the battleship that comes in, I forget what it was called, but it reminded me a lot of War of the Worlds. What's that?
Taiko or
the
something?
Taiko, yeah. It reminded me of War of the Worlds.
Super heavy cruiser or whatever it was.
Yeah. It reminded me of War of the Worlds when the Thunderchild comes in to try to save the people and it gets trounced by the Martians. It's the same shit here. It gets aptly destroyed. The fact that atomic breath, because they try to hide it a little bit at the beginning of the film, but when that breath comes out of the water, oh my god, dude. And leaves them in shambles, man. It's so amazing, man. I won't go on for too much longer, but I will say this. My favorite scene in the film is easily the speech from Yoshioka, the engineer, who talks to everybody on the eve before they actually pull off their plan. And he tells them, one of the biggest mistakes of this country is that we didn't value the lives of the people that live here. And he brings up the flimsy tanks that they had, the fact that they forced people to commit kamikaze, and all the other acts that, throughout the war, really kind of whittled down the Japanese public and just wore them down to just the nub. Of course, you add in the nuclear bombs and the fire bombs, and it's a wonder how they even were able to build back up after that. And that was very touching. Out of all the scenes in the movie, that hit me the most. Because we usually look at Japan as like, oh, you started it, we had to finish it, but you feel empathy for them a lot in this film, and to me, it was a nice change of pace. It made me realize that a lot of the stuff that we've enjoyed throughout the years from the creators that have made these shows that we watch grew up in this period. They grew up in the Reconstruction period. Tomino, chief among them, Miyazaki, all these anime creators come from this time. They're kind of informed from this period. So for them to revisit it in this film, it's kind of full circle to me when it comes to my consumption of media from Japan. So seeing how this all played out was great. I'm seeing this movie show up in a lot of people's top fives, if not top ones in this list. And I really hope it does well during awards season. I know that the Golden Globes just happened, but they're usually wrong about everything. But when the Oscars come up,
this movie won't.
Yeah,
no.
This movie won't.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't expect it to win Best Picture, but I hope it gets nominated from Japan to be its foreign picture for the foreign category. We haven't seen those nominations yet.
It should be. It should not actually. I'll be honest with you. I mean, so probably if you got anything else to say,
it could be nominated for Best Picture.
I'm gonna add my say, and then we can go to our Godzilla Goblin after that.
Absolutely,
I'm saving it for the last on this. But
no doubt.
I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If they just nominate for Best Foreign Film, that's actually that's insulting.
Well, no,
because
hold on.
Best
Foreign film are when countries nominate a film from their country,
It should be
to in the
best
category.
picture.
That doesn't mean it won't be. It can't be nominated for best picture.
No, my point is,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, you know how Hollywood acts.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to just give it. Oh, we'll give it best. We'll put it in the best foreign film. It should be best picture.
I hope it is nominated.
I get what Neil's trying to get at. That like, you don't want it to be thrown into just like the ghetto of
siloed
film category.
Best international film or best
because if we're gonna go I broke this down to these guys before our pre-show before we started recording. If we're just gonna break this down to like picture best movie, I've pretty much seen all the big movies of this last 12 months. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, all that crap. Barbie, all this stuff. This is probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. I told these guys, what makes this good is the fact that I sat there and I took Miriam, my significant other, to go watch this at a movie theater. She does not like watching, she does not like doing foreign films and sitting there watching subtitles and stuff. She's not a Godzilla fan, but she sat there and she thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And that, to me, is the mark of what this movie is.
Yes.
Everything that all these guys have said, Chris, Solbro at this point, the story with the human drama is there. I mean, we're talking... I think I brought this up in the I talked about this many episodes ago in Gundam. To me, I always wanted to see a post-World War II movie.
Oh, yeah.
And this is it. I mean, I've always wanted in the aspect of, like, how it shaped our world now. But this is a whole different thing. And it's a movie about redemption. It's a movie about regret. It's a movie about going on. It's a movie about questioning who you are, what you lived in. And it's also a movie about how the world answers those things. This Godzilla is terrifying in this movie. I'm not like Fred. I'm probably among the four of us talking right now. I'm probably number 2 on the kaiju thing. I love the old Godzillas and the rubber suits and all that crap, and it's fun. But this one, it's the first time I ever sat there and I said, you know what, Godzilla's the problem. We have to take care of him. Yes. And like I'm like the first time I ever sat there and I said, you know what, the humans have to take care of him. Like, he has to go.
Yeah.
Like, this plan has to work for him to go away, because he is freaking terrifying in this movie,
and he's growing with every attack. So if you don't take him out now, it's just gonna get worse.
Because I mean, all the story progression of this. When we meet him on Odo Island, which, if you're a Godzilla fan, you know Odo Island. That's the first movie, the 1954 movie. We're all going crazy. And you see him, and he's basically, like Solbro said, he's the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Tiny. And the idea of... The point that sticks out to me is, like, they're telling Shikishima, they're like, fire the gun. He's like, what if it makes them mad? And he was right.
Yes.
And he was right. I mean, all those guys died, but he was right, and that stuck with me on that. And yeah, and then of course, go USA, we irradiate them, and all this other stuff. But the fact of, like, he is, Godzilla's always been the metaphor of, what are we doing? He's Frankenstein's monster. I mean, he's a different version of Frankenstein's monster. It's like, okay, we irradiate something, it comes back and kill us. In this one, it's like he's even more so. And we see, we even see with, it's just a peek into a world that we've never seen when it comes to Japan. Like, okay, they believed in what they were supposed to be fighting for. They got beat, and then they basically, they hated their government more than they hated the Americans who defeated them. So it's a lot of different things in here. The storytelling of the fact of like, you can't have survivor's guilt. You have to move on. If you love somebody, you have to tell them. I mean, because we see that. And then the fact of like, sometimes it takes a few people to stand up and do what's right. And, you know, it was actually, I mean, it was way on there, and it's very intense. It's a movie, I think, that just transcends just the Godzilla franchise. I mean, I think if I talk about this film, it's not a Godzilla film. It's just a good film. It's a good story.
100%. That's what I've said when describing this movie too.
I think if we're just gonna say, well, it's a good story revolving around Godzilla, that actually kind of like, that's kind of insulting to it. It's just, they knew what they were doing and they told a story, and it's all the things, it's all the insecurities, it's all the troubles, it's all the traumas that all of us deal with. We don't have to be war veterans. We don't have to be survivors of mass trauma that happens when Godzilla attacks. But I think that's where it connects. And I mean, that's the biggest thing. So that's my say. I'm going to bring it over to our Godzilla Goblin.
Well, I didn't even get to finish.
I thought you finished.
No, you took over when I was talking about the awards. You interrupted and just rolled with it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, I'll just add. I thought it was an interesting point that they pointed out that the demilitarization of Japan kind of put them on the back foot too, which is why they were able to manage to scrounge up that prototype fighter and the few ships they had. So they were really up against it when they were taking on Godzilla towards the end. I deep down inside, when I saw that Noriko got swept away, I prayed that she was okay. I thought that, you know, maybe there was a chance she survived, and I was happy to see that towards the end of the movie that turned out to be true. So that was fantastic. It's one of those things you suspected, but you wanted it to be true. Even if you did predict it, it didn't bother me an ounce. Because
it's a cliche thing, but the movie earns it.
Yes,
like so many movies don't earn that satisfying, like, happy ending. Exactly. And this movie really does.
I will say, before we go on Brad on this, it's the one time it's the one time where it's like, if that would have happened in any other movie, I'd been like, oh, really?
Yeah.
But for some reason, even though it happened here, I didn't have a problem with it.
Right.
Because I think because of all the other topics and stories and everything that they discuss in this, it wasn't like, oh wow, this is just a happy tidy ending. Like, it's because you can tell after Godzilla attacks, it's not good for anybody. So
shout out to MCT Dread, who says that last line though from Noriko was so poignant. Yes, it was.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah,
it broke me.
That's something like, you know, whenever I get, you know, I'd like to get to as far as like, so I didn't mean to cut you off. So
no, you're good. You're good. I actually have two questions for you, and I'll pass the mic to you. My number one question is: Shin Godzilla was I think the last Japanese Godzilla movie to come out. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
What did you enjoy more, this or Minus One or Shin Godzilla?
So I have been a Shin Godzilla stan since the movie has come out.
Oh yeah.
I've always thought I mean, from the fact that it's just a great Godzilla movie, it's very unique, and you know, it's done by my boys, you know, Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi. I gotta support my boys.
You got to do it.
But Shin was the top of my list. And I have stewed on this movie. I have marinated. I've seen this movie 10 times in a row.
What? Nice.
I mean, I'm a Godzilla fan.
Or Minus One.
Keep those stubs. Keep those thoughts.
When Shin came out, when it came out for a single week, and it was only like for 5 days or 5 days,
Mhm.
I saw it every single day. And then whenever they released it again the next week, I saw it every single day.
That's what's up.
Don't call me not dedicated, bro.
Wow.
But with Godzilla Minus One, I've seen this movie multiple times, and with the advent of Minus One Minus Color coming out, I'm probably going to see it 10 more times.
Nice.
But anyways, I have stewed on this movie for a very long time, and I know me as a Godzilla fan, there's this preconceived bias, like, oh, you're a fan of the franchise, of course you're going to love the new thing. If anything, I'm incredibly hypercritical when it comes to this franchise.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie is hands down, and I will say this, and a lot of fans have said this besides the original movie, and I would even go as far to say maybe it's even better, that this movie, Minus One, is the greatest Godzilla movie in this entire 70-year franchise.
That was my second question, so you nailed it right there.
That. Yeah, because I rewatched. I have a Blu-ray of the original movie, and as great as the original movie is, and I'm not even getting into the whole like special effects and all that.
Yeah,
I'm just talking the story.
Yes,
I kind of get with you because, I believe this is what the original writers wanted for the 1954 movie. This movie gave it to them.
A lot of the leaks, whenever the leaks were coming out there for this movie, whenever it was, and there was rabid amount of like false news and stuff like that. But one of the core things that was talked about with as far as the details for this movie is a lot of people were saying that this was the movie that Ishiro Honda and Eiji Tsuburaya and that they wanted to make back in 1954.
Woo.
And I can't help but agree in a certain way, because this movie is, it's just fantastic. It is amazing. I can't stop thinking about this movie. And I know because I'm a fucking Godzilla fan. Of course. I've got Godzilla on the mind. But this movie, I kid you not, like the sound, I listen to the soundtrack daily.
Yes.
I think about this movie daily.
The score's amazing, by the way. And it's all yours, by the way, Fred. Take over.
Oh, yeah. And I'll get to the score because like me and you, we love our music.
Absolutely.
And I'll get to what the score, how amazing what they do with the score. But this movie is honestly, this movie is about tragedy.
Yeah.
And trauma. More than anything, this is about somebody experiencing trauma and how people come together to conquer that trauma. My favorite scene in this movie is, shockingly enough, not a Godzilla film movie. Scene. Sorry, the words are. It's not a Godzilla scene as much as the atomic breath scene, which I will also go on record saying that the atomic breath scene is the greatest atomic breath scene in the entire franchise.
Which one? The first one?
The one in Ginza?
Not the battleship one, but the one in Tokyo. The one where he unleashes the atomic breath for that time, and you see it in the full visceral glory. It's the greatest.
The Black Rain.
Yes,
the Black Rain.
The destruction, the way the explosion happens, where there's the concussive and then the sucking of the air back in, like it's so accurate. It is literally an atomic bomb. He is the way I categorize this Godzilla is like a lot of comparisons to Shin. Shin Godzilla was a creature that was forcefully mutated by the hubris of man to become a god.
Yeah.
This Godzilla is a god that has been baptized in atomic fire. And you feel the wrath of this monster.
Man.
That's what Yamazaki was actually going for, is he was going for the aspect of not just an animal, but a vengeful kami or a god or oni or anything like that.
Wow.
And I think he nails it. I mean, the fact that whenever he first appears, the dinosaur, the pre-mutated Godzilla, he doesn't eat anybody.
No.
He doesn't. He just kills them.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, it's not for food. And in the novelization, the scene where like Shikishima is sitting in the thing and he locks up. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but Godzilla looks in that direction. You think like, oh, he's looking. Oh, he doesn't see him. No, in the novelization, Godzilla sees him.
Oh,
and says, "Oh, you're not attacking me. You're not a threat. I'm leaving you alone."
Oh, shit.
And it's almost in a way that this Godzilla actually identifies Koichi and knows who he is in a way because of that instance. Godzilla is the personification of trauma.
Yes.
But going back into it, my favorite scene in this movie is the scene where after Godzilla destroys the Takeo and Koichi and his crew come back to Tokyo, and Noriko is like, why don't you talk to me? Like, open up to me.
Oh,
it is the most accurate representation of somebody who has experienced deep levels of trauma I have ever seen, really on film. That the shame, the horror of it, the flashbacks of it, the decentralizing against like your surroundings, like, oh my god, like maybe I am dead. Maybe this is just the ramblings as I'm rotting in the ground.
Yeah.
That scene never fails to bring like thinking about it is bringing a tear to my eye. And where Noriko
that's the scene when he has the nightmare and he wakes up and he opens up the door where he's living in Tokyo and he's back at Odo Island.
Yes.
And he sees everything. I get that.
Well,
that was a pivotal moment. Yeah,
like there's that moment, and then like him reacting, and Noriko's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And then there's that scene where he comes back and he just vomits that his trauma, and he opens up, and he's in the next day where she's telling him like, "You can live, you're alive, you're allowed to live," but that feeling of when you've experienced something where you're just like, I don't deserve to live, I'm nothing, it's my fault that I'm alive. And then the evolution of that and him losing the Noriko. And then at the end of that movie where she asks him, and we've made mention of this, where she asks him that line where, because he's mentioned like, my war is not over. This trauma is not, I can't live. I'm not allowed to be happy. Like I can't love anybody. I can't confess, I can't have a family or anything like that. I'm not allowed because of this trauma.
Exactly. At
the end of that movie where she, you see her, Noriko, and she asks him, "Is your war over?" And he just breaks.
Man,
this movie is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, man.
It's it's tremendous. I mean, when I saw every time I've seen this movie, there's not a dry eye in the audience when it comes to these scenes and stuff like that. And again, this is an amazing Godzilla movie. Like the destruction is amazing. I mean, it's fantastic. It's and
visceral.
The Godzilla. Yeah. Yes, it's visceral. I can't get enough of it.
I hate Godzilla. Like I've always said, this is the movie where I sat there and I'm like, I don't like Godzilla.
Yeah, and you usually you usually want to see the damage. You want to see him wreck a town. But in this,
it's not even wrecking it. I understand why he's wrecking the town.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like I've understood why he wrecked shit before, but in this one, it's like he's
kicking these people while they're down, and it's like, man,
it's not even that. He's the personification. We just need him to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
he's a menace.
He's an absolute menace. Because he's always been like portrayed as like kind of this balance of power or this balance of nature, but not in this. Because
or even an innocent creature that's been like forcefully mutated. Like there's a innocence in like you feel pity for him,
absolutely,
like King Kong in a way. But this Godzilla is just a pure personified hate and anger and malice.
Because the Godzilla that shows up on Odo Island, that's the innocent Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, it's probably one of the least like good scenes in the whole movie, but when they drop the atomic bomb on him and you just like get the close up of his face and it goes to like a light scene and then he gets irradiated, that's when his innocence is gone, because it's the innocence of Shikishima, and then it's also the innocence of Godzilla.
Mhm.
But then the man is able to redeem himself, but the monster's a menace at this point. I mean,
Yes.
Godzilla has to go.
Yeah, and it's only with the cooperation of his community, Shikishima's community, and his friends that he's allowed into his heart,
Yeah.
that he's allowed to conquer this trauma. I mean, he is the one that deals the decisive blow to Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And of course, like the ending of the movie is like up for speculation. Of course, with the thing that is like crawling up Noriko's neck. I mean, people have said like, oh, it's like she's going to become a Godzilla. My interpretation of this is and it goes back to the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
The original movie had this thing of where if Godzilla doesn't kill you, the radiation does.
Oh,
That's the silent killer.
Oh,
I mean, there's a scene in the original movie where
Like the
after
atomic bombs that we dropped.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Like there's a scene in the original after Godzilla's main attack in the first movie, and you see the bodies and stuff like that. And there's a scene where a scientist is using a Geiger counter, and there's this child, an actual child, and he's reading the Geiger counter, and it is spiking. You hear it going off to dangerous levels. There's no dialogue, and he just shakes his head and walks away. That child is dead.
Dude.
That he will not live, and that's why with that what I interpret it is not like, oh, she's gonna become a Godzilla. Like there's this, it ain't no Shin Godzilla mutation thing.
Yeah, she's not going to become. Yeah, she's not going to become the Shin Godzilla.
Yeah,
human hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of like an aggressive. It's of cancerous tumors in a way, similar to what happened to the innocent crew of the Lucky Dragon #5, which is one of the main inspirations to the original Godzilla.
Oh.
Yes. If you don't know about this, the Lucky Dragon #5 was an incident where it was a tuna vessel that wandered too far into an atomic test zone by the U.S. military.
No way.
They were doused with what they call death ash, which is irradiated coral that was rained down upon the boat.
Oh.
They returned back to the country. Every crew member was sick. One of them actually passed away. And his final words were, "Please let me be the final victim of the atomic bomb."
Oh, shit.
6 months later, on November 3rd, 1954, the first Godzilla movie comes out.
No.
And the opening of that movie is a fishing vessel that is enveloped in a blinding flash of light.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's always been an allegory or metaphor of
absolutely
man doing these things, but
ultimately we're the villain.
Yeah.
As we always are.
Yeah, I mean, it's the hubris of man when it comes to science, and that's always like in that the scientific aspects aren't really big in this movie, but with the original and the franchise in general, it's the pursuit of scientific advancement and not acknowledging the consequences of said action. And again, this movie doesn't really like. Yes, the bombs were American made, and the bombs did make Godzilla, but the movie doesn't point a finger. That's not the point.
Right.
It's not to blame America.
Yeah.
And that's just like the original movie. That movie, like Honda was a humanitarian. Not a humanitarian. Well, he was a humanitarian, but a pacifist. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So his goal with that original movie was the fact of like, look, this threat is a global threat. It is us as a species. The brotherhood of man needs to come together above countries, above race, above everything to stop this threat. That's the more important thing. And that's what's transcended over into, the later movies and stuff like that, the entire franchise. I mean, I can't think of another character in fiction, in movie, we'll narrow it down to movies, that there is a character that has lasted this long, that is this malleable, and has had a dedicated franchise with its highs and lows. There is no other character in movie fiction that matches Godzilla. Godzilla is the most malleable, adaptable character in movie fiction to date.
I know there's some legacy characters like what's his name? Of course, James Bond and what's his name? Zatoichi are the only two I can think of. But yeah,
I mean,
Godzilla.
you could say,
Yeah,
you could say
Those
like
kind
evolves.
of those fill the same role like in every movie that they're in.
Very true.
Like
They
every
kinda
Zatoichi movie is
and
Zatoichi
they're not-
wanders into a new town.
Yeah.
The Yakuza are terrorizing the citizens.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
kills all the Yakuza. The peasants rejoice, and he leaves. It's the
He-
same
Yeah.
movie every
Same
time.
old song.
and they're not global. I mean, you could possibly say James Bond is more global because of what he did, but I think in this aspect, it's more of a global type of aspect in this. Is
Certainly.
like we have to be responsible. We have to understand what we're doing, and yeah, Godzilla is the personification of that. I mean, he's the personification of everything that is amazing about science and what will destroy us about its science.
yes,
And,
absolutely.
And I will say this. I mean, I don't like to go into this too much, but the thing is what Fred brought up. I mean, if you understand how weapons of war work, you will not be the first person to say we need to use weapons of war. Because they're not good. It's not. It doesn't. All it does is destroy, and it destroys on a level that you can't even comprehend. And I think that's the message you get in this, because that was the overall message in this. This is not only a country that was defeated, but their people were destroyed. They lost everything. And because they were lied to. I mean, that to me was the biggest thing, is like they're saying we were lied to by this government to just kill ourselves. I mean, when they bring up the Godzilla plan in this, it's like, what do you want us just to die indiscriminately? He's like, no, I don't want you to die indiscriminately. That was the previous government. We want you to survive, but if you end up dying because because something happens, then that's no problem. I mean, we're okay with that, or not necessarily okay with it, but we're going to do everything we can to prevent you from being in that situation.
Yeah, you're not sacrificing yourself for a government. You're sacrificing yourself for your family, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your aunt, everybody. That's who you're fighting for. You're fighting for your people,
and you get to
as
make
opposed
a choice.
to a government.
Exactly.
So. I mean, and just there's so much with this, like, and just to briefly talk about like the score done by Naoki Sato, who amazing score.
Oh yeah.
The song that plays whenever Godzilla uses his atomic breath, which is called Divine. It's chilling. Like the OST is chilling, but of course we have the Godzilla themes, of course, and bringing them back from Mothra vs. Godzilla from 1964, as well as the King Kong vs. Godzilla theme from 1962. But the interesting thing about this is that, like, what not a lot of people know is that the original Godzilla, like the standard Godzilla theme that we know, and specifically the one that plays at the War at Sea, that was the military march from the original Godzilla movie.
Oh.
That's not supposed to be Godzilla's theme.
Man.
What's interesting is that when that theme plays at that part of the movie, and that is when the War at Sea goes into full action, in a way, that is humanity taking back its orchestral thematic, its theme back from this monster that is, and they have to conquer this monster with the orchestra behind them. This is their theme. This is their theme song, and we're taking it back.
Nice.
There's so much stuff, like, as far as the movie. I mean, there's little things, here and there. I mean, there's name drop, of course, Odo Island, but there's the one with the Ogasawara Islands where they see the wreck of the battleship. Ogasawara Islands is the Monster Land. That is where Monster Island is. That's
shit.
There's that. I mean, his license plate on his motorcycle is 1594 1954. There's paper cranes that are in the same exact color as the paper cranes from Shin Godzilla.
Nice.
I mean, there's so many things that Yamazaki is a Godzilla fan.
Just the fish alone.
Yes.
The fact that they kept that throughout the movie, it's like, because that's one of those things where it's like, you'll see that in the beginning of a film, but then sometimes they forget about it. But that was a constant. Wait, there's fish, and the fact that the humans are sitting there saying, "Oh, we noticed that when he comes up, the fish die."
Yeah,
and they're not fish that are like close to the close to the surface. They're deep water fish, and
which in the novelization it's said that that's the deal with the Islanders and Godzilla is Godzilla they give Godzilla sacrifices, which are they sacrifice virgin maidens to him that he like devours or whatever, and he brings up fish to help supply the island. There is that sense of balance between the natives and Godzilla. It is he is literally a worshipped god to these people, and that's what his stance in this movie is. So yeah, it does my heart good that this movie is not being just celebrated as with the fans. It's being celebrated by people like you guys. Like, you guys aren't really into the fandom as much as like I am, or into the franchise as much as I am. But the fact that you could take somebody who has like not a care in the world for this stuff, and they see it and are moved and can appreciate this movie. This is the movie that every Godzilla fan hopes for. They dream of, that we're not ashamed of in a way.
Well, it's like you said. I mean, Chris, who's the least the Godzilla fans of the three of us, suggested this.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there with my significant other, Miriam. She's loved this movie.
Yeah.
She sat there and she felt bad for Godzilla, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, this is the most terrifying Godzilla, and she's like, you know what? I understand. He's not a bad guy. So, and this is somebody that has she doesn't know what any of this is. She like she doesn't care, and she enjoyed the movie, and she liked it, and made her think, and that it's like you said, that's what you want. I equate it, like I said, I equate this to this Wrath of Khan of Star Trek. Like, it is the movie that you don't have to be a fan of the franchise, but you can like this movie.
Well, it did have a big crossover success, and anecdotally, when I saw it at my local theater, the theater was mostly full. I'd say 75% full.
Nice.
And like, just visually looking at people, like, most of them were absolute normies, not freaking like weebs and kaiju fans. Like, I was surprised by how many normies were at this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I went to it this past Monday, and I mean, everybody was just I mean, it wasn't anybody with like an anime shirt on or something like that. It was just regular people.
Being that you watch linear television, Neil, you're probably the only one out of us that does, and you watch sports. Did they advertise this movie a lot during games?
No.
They don't? Oh, wow. I was wondering if
this movie has been
advertising.
I'll be you know where I really saw the thing on, where I saw the juice on this movie was YouTube.
Oh, that's
yes.
I mean,
word of mouth.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When in terms of like, I still have all the streaming services,
hey, no shame.
and I have cable. It's no big deal. I'm able to do it. I mean, I wish other people could do it. It's fine, but whatever. But I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah,
I watch a ton of YouTube, and I watch a ton of I mean, the fact of the matter is when I watched a local sports podcast in LA, and somebody's talking about this movie, we're like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Yeah, I went to the Alamo Draft House here in downtown LA and watched this movie called Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. It was the same thing of like, I just know what Godzilla is because people know what Godzilla is. Everyone knows what Godzilla is, but they don't know what it. And the girl sat there and said, I didn't think I was gonna like this, but she sat there and the same thing. I ended up crying and loved this movie. Yeah. Went back and saw it again.
Yeah, my wife loved it too.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The best thing I heard.
But in terms of like, are you seeing like action on it? No, nobody. I've never seen it on TV. I've never heard it. I mean, the only thing I've seen it on is just YouTube.
The best thing I heard,
Really?
the best thing I heard on YouTube about this was a review from a channel I watch, Christian Harloff. He had mentioned that normally, he has to watch a lot of subtitled movies, and normally, it takes a toll. But when he watched this movie, he didn't even he absorbed it as he was watching it. Like the subtitles just went away for him.
Yeah,
as he was watching it, man. Fred, what were you going to say?
I mean, the word of mouth it's amazing how word of mouth has influenced this movie. I mean, we're talking about a movie that has grossed almost $100 million in the U.S. alone.
That's wild.
It is the highest grossing live action Japanese movie ever. It is also the 5th highest grossing just foreign film right now. It is the 5th one, and it is still going.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not stopping, and it's amazing how well this movie is doing.
When I went to Fandango on Monday, and I know I live in a different world than other parts of the United States, but there were honestly at least 9 movie theaters within probably a 10-mile radius of me that were showing this film. And like showing it on not just like, oh, we're just going to show this like 3 o'clock. I'm talking like multiple showings. So yeah, it's a whole different situation. And yeah, I mean, that's why I joke. I'm like, if I was Bob Iger, I'd fly all my people to Toho to see like how do I write a story
you didn't hear
for a movie that makes sense.
You didn't hear they got ahead of you on this. There was a showing at Lucasfilm for this movie with the director. Came out the Lucasfilm to screen this movie for a bunch of creatives at Lucasfilm. I think either this past week or the week before. So they just
this past week Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
I don't know if we like the guy. I don't know, but he requested for them to have a showing of it, and
sure did.
Yamazaki has made mention of he
would like to do Star Wars.
Really like to do Star Wars at some point. So hint hint. But
and you know what the sad thing is? They'll never do it because it's not even that they don't want to. They just don't want to give up that thing because the problem is you have a situation with one country that's willing to take chances, and you have another one that's just a giant jobs program where, and it is. I mean, let's be honest. They spend too much money on this, and you're gonna have to reset things. Like you're gonna have like a whole. I mean, I've seen people. Oh well, yeah, Hollywood should have a problem with this, but it's not gonna change anything because it's just. Because even though we sit here and bitch and complain about all these Marvel movies, people are still watching them.
Yep.
I mean, people are
to a
still
lesser
watching
extent,
all this.
though, and the same with those TV shows like God Can Bleed. Finally,
they're going. They're going to have to regroup if they're going to make this work. So, directors like this one are really changing the game, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Yeah. Whether it's another Godzilla or another movie, I'm a fan of his, and I'll follow him wherever he goes because he did an incredible job with this.
He was approached years ago to do a Godzilla movie, and he said no because he wants to wait for technology, and he said, I want to craft the best Godzilla movie I can make.
Oh, the brother
this
did
movie
it.
was
he probably did, right?
I mean, I think he fucking did.
At this point, of what we've been exposed of the 30 fucking films of over 30 films of Godzilla, he did it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Godzilla. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like he's conquered the main barrier, which is the general audience. I mean, Shin Godzilla is a great movie. I love that movie to death.
Oh yeah,
but it's not general.
I can't show that to a normal person. They're gonna be like, "This movie's boring as shit." There's a lot of talking, and it's a political thriller.
Yeah,
and I don't know, where's the action? The standard, when's the monster going to show up? Kind of thing we hear.
And I'll give you the goddamn hot take, and you guys can take it up whatever you want. And the next thing we can go to is things that we didn't like about this movie.
Okay.
But the hot take I will say is the 2014 American version of Godzilla, that Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Up until this movie came out, that was probably the best representation of humans in a Godzilla film. And I know you're gonna shit on me, but if you think about it, with Professor Walter White and even his dumbass son in the end, it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, I get it. It's legendary, and but I felt that was especially for a US version of it. I mean, It was the best representation of it. And even for the Japanese movies, I think it's still not a bad representation because you felt kind of how it was to be part of the situation when this giant monster is attacking stuff.
Man, Neil, you know that's cap. You know that's cap, man. The best human representation in all of Godzilla is Raymond Burr stuck on the set.
I mean, he didn't do a bad job, man.
Hey, yo, it's Perry Mason. What did he do?
He didn't do a bad job. But I mean, you can't completely crap on that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, so my point is like, if they're gonna go forward with these Godzilla movies for the American markets, build on that, and then maybe steal from Minus One.
There's a lot to learn from this movie.
It's not the worst formula to steal from.
Yo, I feel bad. Right. I feel bad for Godzilla Cross Kong coming up because I
don't feel bad.
Woo! Look, man, movie's got a lot to live up to.
It's more food, bro. That's all I care about.
Hey, you know what? That's
like
what's
up. We had our Godfather. Now it's time to have our dumb Showa era Godzilla movie where it's just like, yeah, sure, the humans exist, I guess. Oh no, but big monkey punches big lizard guy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. That's what I'm here for.
Hey, this movie's got me ready to watch Monarch over on Apple, so I'm jump on that next.
Which I will say on a side note is a good show.
Awesome.
It is good.
And season 1 just wrapped up, so perfect time to binge it.
So, Chris, we haven't heard from you in a while. Anything you didn't like? Anything that you thought could be improved in this movie?
Nothing really stuck out at me that I didn't like. I felt
wow.
But a little obvious at the time of like the Ginza attack that there'd be like a surprise Thornco at the end, but then it's like that reunion, like was said, was earned, and also has the bittersweet tinge of like, oh, she's probably gonna die of cancer, so it's a short reunion. It's just a chance for him to finally tell her how he feels and get his shit together and not waste what little time he has. So
absolutely.
I would say across the board, there's nothing that I didn't like about this movie.
Okay. So, bro, anything you didn't like?
I personally have no notes. I will make a note, though, of some reviewers that have shown me that they've never watched the Japanese movie ever in their lives.
Who cares about them?
The biggest complaint I've seen, and it's not even that big, to be honest, because most of the reviews for this movie have been completely in favor of it, but some people are complaining about how the acting is in this movie, and it's like, this is textbook Japanese acting. Like, it's a bit more exaggerated than, say, the method acting you find in America.
Move on.
You always cut me off. Let me finish my statement, please. Goodness. But yes, I would say that watch more Japanese cinema, watch more Asian cinema, and you'll get accustomed to it. Other than that, that's the only thing I have to say. I'll pass it.
I think with those people, I'll tell them this.
Yeah.
Stop being an asshole.
Stop being a xenophobe.
And stop just thinking that just because American movies are the only way to be.
Actors act differently in their respective countries.
Right.
It's something you need to know, especially if you're reviewing movies as a professional movie reviewer.
Right, and that's where I was saying I wasn't cutting you off per se. I was cutting them off because you know what? What are they professional? fuck you.
Exactly.
You don't know what that. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
That
Like,
bothered the fuck out of me
I
when I heard that shit.
mean,
It's like,
yeah.
word?
Oh,
Alright.
yeah. Because guess what? All professional, quote unquote, professional movie reviewers are. They're assholes that graduated drama school that couldn't get into the drama company. I mean, that's basically what they are.
No, the murder.
That's basically what
The
they are,
murder.
right? I mean,
You're not wrong.
People,
You're not wrong.
They're people that wanted to be in the movies that
A lot of them are
so
failed actors.
shitty that couldn't get in there. Like, well, I mean, you could be a failed actor and still be a voice actor. I mean, we've seen people make careers out of that. I mean, sorry, I'm hitting zingers at this point, but you know, I mean, I hate to be an asshole, but I mean, that's what it really is.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
There you go.
I will say for me, and I mentioned it before, the only downside of it is the fact that Noriko survived. Because I'm kind of twisted on this because it's like I didn't want to give Shikishima so much more like trauma, like just like she died. I was kind of happy, but then yes, you're right, because you see at the end she has that little bubbly thing. It's like, oh yeah, the cancer's gonna get her. So or she'll mutate into a Godzilla human hybrid and have sex with a light pole or something like that. So that'll be Shin Godzilla too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
greenlight it.
yeah, I mean that's really my only downside. I mean, other than that,
there was one thing that did bug me a little bit in addition to the thing about Norik.
Awesome.
At the end, before and during the final battle, the way that they revealed that that Tachibana put in a eject button in the fighter, it felt very Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Yeah. It did,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'll admit to that. I didn't mind
I
it.
I kind of knew something was up when they still show the scene and the audio goes silent. I'm like, what the hell?
Wait a minute.
Like,
Hey.
like, there's got to be some type of like, because even Mary was like, what happened to the audio? I'm like, and like, I'm like, they're probably giving some workaround for the final battle because you could tell, that's true too. Yeah.
That pesky unreliable narrator. Trying to swerve us. We all knew it had an eject button. It had to have something, but it was cool to see it though.
So, Fred, what any downsides that you had? Godzilla, he didn't destroy enough, or
no. I mean,
a cigar when he did that. Yeah.
No, he didn't eat a steak rare. He didn't have he didn't have no veggies. Yeah.
Damn.
I guess the bigger thing I would say is like, why can't they just say like, what happens to Godzilla's turds? Like he's got to have radioactive turds just sitting all over the place, but that's okay. Go ahead, Fred.
I think some of it does bother me somehow how Courier like telegraphs some of the plot twists are. It did get me the first time, but then after a while, I'm like, you know what, the movie it earns its predictability in a way because like the characters earn that happy ending or they earn the whole ejection seat because they built up to it. Is it ham-fisted in a way? Yeah, but I think some of the only big thing that I had is like sometimes the CGI shots are a little wonky, but that's I get it. Japan does not have ILM. They don't have the equivalent, over there. So they're doing the best they can. They're trying, bro. And then some of the way like how they talked about the legend of Godzilla in the beginning, where it's just like, oh, there's this dinosaur standing, like he stops and he's just like, oh, I guess there's fire here. Oh, that's enough time for us to give an expose on the origin and the lore of Godzilla really quickly. And that kind of threw me off for a bit. But, like, other than that, I love this movie. I can't find nothing wrong with it, bro.
No, and I get with you. There's, like, the first attack on Ginza, there's a couple of scenes, like, right before he does the atomic breath where he looks a little kind of wooden when he's walking through.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that ain't as bad as, like, Secret Invasion. Like, I mean, it's like they spent...
nothing's as pathetic as that little Drax arm.
Yes!
Yeah.
A sad little Drax arm.
even if it comes up, you adjust it up. It's like Silver was saying, like 50 or 40 million US. Okay, that's fine. It's not that bad as that, because when you heard that somebody's like spending $250 million on something,
Dude,
just on that, you're like, no.
Fast X cost $350 million to make.
Right.
$350, and the movie was trash. That movie was so bad.
And I mean, I'm all for paying people what they want, but I mean, it's not just the wages they're going into. It's I mean, the fact that you have the best computers, you have the best graphics, and it looks like that. And the only thing I can say is like, okay, there was like a scene or two where like Godzilla looked a little wooden walking. That's okay. I'm good with that. Yeah, like, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a point where he's kind of there's a full pan out where he's walking over Ginza, and you're like, he looks a little weird, but okay, whatever. You know, it's not that bad.
Because they immediately cut to something spectacular,
something else. Yes,
like like and I meant to bring this up too, but the fact that like his destruction, like what always gets me is the human like damage that he does to people, where how his footsteps causes the road to erupt, and you see people ragdoll in the air. Like we haven't seen this level of gore like in viscera from a Godzilla movie like ever, I think. So
yeah, this might be the most violent Godzilla movie, and not violent in the fact that you're just seeing like blood and guts everywhere, but just the fact of like people getting fucked up and dying. Like, like you know, there's no surviving in some of this shit. Like
like the news reporter scene, like where like he doesn't attack the building, he just scrapes it, and you see in the perspective shot, you're like, oh, it's falling, and then like. For me, it's like it doesn't sink in until you see the ground coming as fast as it does. You're like, oh, they died a horrible death.
Oh, awful. Awful.
They sure did.
Yeah, because it's implied, and sometimes it's better like not necessarily seeing how they die, just knowing that they did, because you just So, but
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to ratings. So, bro,
I'll make this quick, man.
Give us your rating on Godzilla Minus One.
This is my favorite movie of the year of 2023. I will give this movie.
Or in 2024.
Well, I mean, movies that came out in 2023. This is my number one movie of last year. Although I didn't see it till this year, to be honest. But still, I will give this movie 5 floating mines exploding in Godzilla's mouth out of 5. That's what I will do. A perfect score. Because it was fantastic,
so, Chris,
more movies like this, please.
Yeah, so Chris, what is your rating of Godzilla Minus One?
I'm gonna give this a shout out to my boy Noda, because as soon as I saw him, like, I thought, oh man, this guy looks like he's a mad scientist, and then of course he actually was a mad scientist.
Hell yes.
So I'm gonna give this 5 mad scientists out of 5.
Hell yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's definitely there. Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with Solbro and Chris, and I'm just gonna give this 5 floating sushi in the water out of 5, because when you see him coming up, you know nothing good's going on, and so that means, Brad, we're gonna give you the last. It's up to you, man. So what do you think? As the Godzilla Goblin, we're gonna build this up a little bit. As the Godzilla Goblin, you've pretty much seen every Godzilla film. You've studied them. You've analyzed them. What do you think?
I think it's no surprise that I would give this 5 out of 5 traumatic mental breakdowns. 5 of those out of 5. It is. I've said it before. This is the greatest Godzilla movie ever made. This is the best the franchise has ever done, and this is a trendsetter. This is the mark that we go forward against.
Yo, remember this day.
And I think we actually made history on this, because I don't think any of us, between the 3 permanent panelists on here and any guests, I don't think we've ever agreed. I don't know. We'd have to go back. Stream, you can tell us, but I don't think we've ever all agreed on something.
I don't think so.
I mean, we've all loved stuff, but I don't think our ratings. I mean,
Yeah.
5s across the board. Like that's beyond. And I mean,
Perfect score, man. Like Famitsu.
Yeah, like it is. We might have actually entered history here. So, wow, thank you, guys. Anything before we close it up, or?
I mean, other than that, just other than the normal stuff, which I basically go see this movie. You haven't seen it, enjoy it. If you want to see it in black and white, as we mentioned, that release is coming out at the end of the month. So if you want to enjoy it again in a different way, go out and check that out. And also pick up the Blu-ray when it comes out. Physical media is being phased out.
Yeah.
So if you can get the Blu-ray, get it while you can. I love to do something where I put my ticket stub, I tape it inside the Blu-ray case. If I have more than one, I'll tape the ticket stub inside the Blu-ray case, so it's in there, and I remember the date that I saw the movie. It just lives in there.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
I mean, I'm probably more than likely going to import the Japanese Blu-ray because that's how much of a psychopath I am.
Yes, indeed.
So, but yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, a lot less beef that week, right? So,
right. Yeah. I gotta.
The beef allocation will go to
tighten the belt.
Godzilla Blu-ray. yeah. A little more chicken that time, or maybe vegetables or something because they're cheaper. Yeah. But no, I mean that's that. I will say this, and I think you want to see this movie, not because it's trendy or anything, just because it's a good movie. And
but two things real quick. Not a breaking news story.
Oh shit!
Waxworks has now teased and will probably within the next day be announcing that they will be releasing Godzilla Minus One on vinyl very shortly. They just released a teaser with a GIF saying "Y'all ready?" So within the next 12 hours, we're probably gonna get an announcement.
Wow!
I will be buying it.
That's actually breaking news.
Yeah. But I did want to give a shout out to. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. But I did want to give a shout out to a crew of people that also are Godzilla fans. But I wanted to give them a short plug real quick. Is the Headcanon podcast. It's a group of 3 guys, Tay, Crockett, and Brian, and they are very much like you guys. They are into pop culture, gaming, comics, and all of that. Great group of guys. It is an amazing podcast. They are on their way. They make great content. I would highly recommend you guys listen to them. They just did an episode on how nerd culture became mainstream, and it is a very interesting discussion. So I would, if you want to find them, they are at Headcanon, Canon with a K. If you want to go check them out, man, I highly recommend these guys, man. They deserve all the love.
Hey, Neo, Yahtzee wants to know if Foxy approved of the movie.
Actually, this is the first movie in a long time that Foxy wasn't able to go to.
Oh,
so
man.
normally, normally there's a theater in Newport Beach that we go to that Foxy can go to, but they haven't been showing this movie, so I had to go to Irvine Spectrum. But she does because she was Foxy Monster. She's Foxzilla when she was. So yeah, she and she's Japanese, so I mean,
she has to.
She has to. Yeah, I mean. But yeah, she definitely did, and thank you, Yossi, for asking for that. Yeah, this is we felt. Oh my God, we're so ridiculous. This is the first movie in forever that we didn't bring the dog to, which sounds so ridiculous that we can't bring our dog to it, because there's the one in Newport Beach we go to, and we have the reclining seat. She gets there, we get her hamburger, and she's good, and she watches the movie with us.
Oh,
she's seen everything. She's seen Oppenheimer. She's seen Barbie, she's seen Indiana Jones, she's seen Killers of the Flower Moon. She sat through that movie for 3 hours. It was perfect dog. So,
what's her favorite Scorsese movie?
No doubt.
I I actually think she's a little old school. I mean, she's only 2 years old, but she's seen the catalog, and she definitely likes Goodfellas. I mean, she likes the pacing, and yeah, of course they always do. I mean, they always do. So they always go back to that. But so yeah, we're insane. We bring our dog to the movie. But she's a really good dog, and she doesn't do anything, and people love her. So I mean, and she was a monster during Halloween, so we call her Foxzilla now. So
Foxzilla, I got pictures. Let me show them real quick.
Yeah, you have to show Foxzilla, because Foxzilla, this is in her irradiated form.
Yes.
After the U.S. military dropped the bomb on her, so she's
after we dropped the sun on her.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything Japanese, we're just going to drop an atomic weapon on them. Hopefully they survive. So. But
how else are we going to get PlayStations?
Exactly. Yeah, that's her before. That's before the Halloween party at where we live. See, she irradiated. Yeah, she's irradiated. She's got the green skin, the horns and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, very scary. Very as much as Godzilla. So, but no, I mean, so, but thank you everybody. Sobro, did you give all the places we can find us at?
Well, not yet, but MAHQ.net, of course, is the main hub. Mm-hmm. Make sure to go there, favorite the website, check out all the updates that Chris talked about earlier, and just visit on a regular basis, man. There's a lot going on there. Gundam.podbean.com is where you can find the audio version of the show. You can also find it on iTunes and Google, whatever the podcasts are all on there now, and also here on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/GundamMAHQ, subscribe, thumbs up the video when you see a new one posted, and feel free to interact and comment on the episodes we've already previously posted as well. You can also watch live over on twitch.tv/FightersReady, and thank you very much for doing so. We are growing over on YouTube, so I appreciate you guys patronizing the channel. Also wanted to point out a music suggestion that actually ties into the topic we normally talk about, which is mecha anime. I just recently got turned on to an album called Scaring the Hose from JPEG Mafia. It's called Scaring the Hose from JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. It's a hip-hop album, as you probably could tell. But JPEG Mafia is a hell of a producer, and his the beats he uses, the way he produces is incredible. Well, there's a song in the album called Kingdom Hearts Key, and you would think it would sample music from Kingdom Hearts. It does not. It actually samples the theme to Escaflowne. I've never heard a hip-hop song sampling Maya Sakamoto in a song, but the way he flipped the beat was incredible. So if you check out any song from this album, just look up Kingdom Hearts Key, pot that shit up, you'll recognize that song instantly. And he did an incredible job. But he released that album and then a DLC album afterwards. You can find it all on Spotify. You can check out the whole thing. But it's great stuff, man. I enjoyed the album, man. It's definitely inspired stuff. But that's all I got to say, and I'll toss it back to you, man.
Cool. So thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you, Fred, for coming out as our resident Godzilla Goblin. In future incarnations, I guess when we go to the legendary film of Godzilla and King Kong, where they're running through, we gotta
they're running to beat that
whatever
ass
terrible things behind us.
Hell yeah.
We'll be talking about that. So thank you, Soulbro, for coming back. Thank you, Chris, for coming back and giving us all that great content on MHQ. Anything else, Chris? Any other MHQ stuff that we need to be aware of outside of just it is developing and there's more stuff coming? And
I'll throw a totally random shout out unrelated to anything, but on the subject of comics, there is, as of the time that we're doing this live stream, a Kickstarter that Dynamite Comics is doing. If you want to get all of the back issues of the old Gargoyles comics reprinted in trade.
Ooh!
Wow!
Shit.
So they're doing 3 volumes. One of them is the original Marvel Comics run from the time that the show was on the air. They're not great, but they're kind of like a curious read. The second volume is the Slave Labor Graphics series, and the third volume is the Bad Guys miniseries from Slave Labor Graphics, which all of those have been out of print for many years and typically go for like hundreds of dollars on the web. They're also weird because they're kind of like manga sized. These are nice full size books, either in trade or hardcover. There's fancy versions. There's tons of different products to choose from in the Kickstarter. So if you like those comics, the new Gargoyles comics that are running right now are a continuation of the Slave Labor series.
Nice.
So you definitely want to have that if you want to be all caught up on the Gargoyles saga.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know that. I want to pick those up because I have the Slave Labor ones. So I need to pick up where they basically left off. I have some of the earlier issues. I don't have them all, but I had no idea that was going on. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Good. So, bro, anything else?
No, I'm solid, man. Let's rock.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you,
I
Fred.
just want to let everybody know. Yeah, thank you, Fred. I just want to let everybody know that we'll be back in a few weeks, and if you need to contact me about any football picks for playoffs here, let me know. I know I was getting those inquiries last year, and a couple of them I hit on. So, not saying I'm savant, and I'm not saying bet your mortgage on what my thing is saying, but hey, I can sometimes handicap some of these games. So, we'll talk to you guys later, and thank you for coming out. And this is the first episode of 2024. Hopefully, the end of 2024 is as free as the beginning of 2024. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a few weeks. Thanks. Bye.
They stole my apes, Odo.
Pardon?
They stole over 1 million bars worth of latinum in apes from me.
What are you talking about, Quark? I'm very busy.
I was having maintenance done on one of my Quarkcoin servers.
I've had complaints about the amount of station power they're using.
They exploited a backdoor in the system and got away with several highly collectible Quarkspar NFTs.
What do these NFTs look like?
Here, I drew them myself.
Not much of an artist, are you?
The art's not important. They stole the blockchain authentication codes for these pieces.
I thought you said that whoever had the blockchain was the owner of the NFT. That the token was non-fungible?
Yes?
Yet you still claim ownership despite having lost the code.
Are you going to help me or not?
What do you want me to do exactly?
I want you to contact Starfleet, the Ferengi Commerce Authority, everyone, and blacklist these NFTs. Nobody wants stolen apes.
I seem to recall you taking great glee in explaining that centralized platforms were obsolete thanks to NFTs.
Well...
But now you want the authorities' help in policing the sale of these things.
I can see I'm wasting my time.
The only people who wasted their time were the thieves who bothered acquiring these hideous things.
You obviously don't know the first thing about cryptocurrency.
I know only a fool would put real money behind such an obvious scam.
There you are, brother. I thought it over. Oh, I'm ready to convert my savings into Quarkcoin.
breakdown, baby.
Who are you?